Good morning, class 10. We will continue the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. We have done till page number 121, where we have read how a smart girl, a little girl, Wali, just 8 years old, how she decided to travel by bus all alone. And she is behaving so smartly. We have read last time how smartly she is behaving. She is answering back to the conductor. She is behaving like grown-up people. She doesn't like when anybody calls that, oh, you are a child, sit down. She does not like all these comments, all these remarks. Now we will continue with the story and see what happens now. I am reading that line where we had stopped so that you can connect with what we were doing. Page 121. I am not a child, I tell you, she said irritably. I am 8 years old. So you must be remembering that when the conductor said that if the bus takes a sharp turn, you might fall down, you will get hurt, you are a child, you should sit down. Then she gets very irritated, she's annoyed. And she says that I am telling you, I am not a child. I am 8 years old. Of course. How stupid of me. 8 years. My. Who is saying this? The conductor is saying, of course. He is saying, yes, you are right. You are not a small child. You are a grown up. You are 8 years old. The bus stopped. Some new passengers got on and the conductor got busy for a time. Afraid of losing her seat, Wali finally sat down. An elderly woman came and sat beside her. Are you all alone, dear? She asked Wali as the bus started again. Wali found the woman absolutely repulsive. Repulsive means causing strong dislike. That means when this woman asked her, are you all alone, dear? Wali turned around and looked at the woman in such a way as if she wanted to show her dislike towards that lady and also towards that question. Wali found the woman absolutely repulsive. Such big holes she had in her earlobes and such ugly earrings in them. And she could smell the betel nut. Betel nut means supari. And she could smell the betel nut the woman was chewing and see the betel juice that was threatening to spill over her lips at any moment. Who could be sociable with such a person? Now, the question of that lady was not the only thing that annoyed Wali and irritated her. She was also very annoyed when she saw the earlobes of that lady were so big, the earrings were not beautiful, they were ugly, and she was chewing betel nut. The smell of that betel nut was coming and the betel nut juice could be seen surrounding her lips. All these things made Wali irritated and she thought, who is going to socialize? Who is going to talk to such an ugly lady? Yes, I am traveling alone, she answered curtly. Curtly means showing displeasure without giving any sign of courtesy, or she did not want to show that she was very happy that this lady was very concerned for Wali. Instead, Wali showed displeasure and answered in that tone that I am traveling all alone. She answered curtly, and I have got a ticket too. Now she is saying that I am not only traveling alone, I am traveling with a ticket. That means I am not doing anything illegal. I have the ticket and I am traveling all alone. Yes, she is on her way to town, said the conductor, with a 30 paise ticket. Now the conductor also interrupted in between and confirmed that yes, she has purchased the ticket and with a 30 paise ticket she is traveling to the town all alone. "Oh, why don't you mind your own business?" said Wali. But she laughed all the same, and the conductor laughed too. Now look at the sternness in her behavior. This sternness is evident at every step. Whenever the conductor says something or whenever any passenger says something, Wali shows this sternness in her attitude, in her replies. And here also she says, when the conductor said that yes, she is traveling all alone to the town with a 30 paise ticket, this girl Wali says, "Why don't you mind your own business?" That means indirectly she is asking the conductor to keep quiet. And she starts laughing, and the conductor also laughs. But the old woman went on with her drivel. Drivel means silly nonsense. But the old woman went on with her drivel. "Is it proper for such a young person to travel alone? Do you know exactly where you are going in town? What's the street? What's the house number?" Now this lady is asking these questions although she has no business with Wali. She does not know Wali. She is a stranger to Wali. But still she is trying to ask these many questions to Wali, and Wali is really becoming very annoyed because she does not want anybody to interrupt in her personal matter. "You needn't bother about me." Now again see the sternness in the behavior of Wali. "You needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself," Wali said, turning her face towards the window and staring out. Now children, I will just ask you to imagine that situation. Imagine that you are in this bus and a smart girl like Wali is sitting and she is talking to a lady who is poking her nose in other person's matter. There was no need. Suppose if any stranger sits near you, you will start asking me, "Why are you going alone? You should not travel all alone. Do you know where you have to go exactly? Do you know the street? Do you know the place? Why should you bother so much?" In today's world, people don't like any interference, and the same was the case with Wali. So Wali again gave a strict reply that "You need not bother about me, you need not worry about me, I can take care of myself," Wali said, turning her face towards the window and staring out. Her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it. It was her first journey. The writer is saying her first journey. It is her first journey, and for this first journey she had to make careful, painstaking plans. She had to make elaborate plans so that she could accomplish her task of going to the town and coming back safely without any problem. She had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way. Thriftily saved means she had saved the money carefully in order to plan out such a journey for herself. Whatever coins came to her, she used to get coins from maybe her parents, from those who came to visit her, or from wherever. She saved that money very carefully so that she could make elaborate plans for this journey. She had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way, resisting every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and the like. And finally, she had saved a total of 60 paise. So look how intelligently she had saved money. Small children, when they get money, they want to buy toffees for themselves, peppermint, balloons, etc. Whatever things they like, they want to purchase that. But Wali resisted her temptation. Although she wanted to eat these things, she wanted to spend her money on these things, but she did not. She saved the money carefully, and finally she could save 60 paise. 30 paise she would use to go to the town, and another 30 paise she would use to come back to her village. how difficult it had been, particularly stifled a strong desire. Stifled means suppressed. No, sorry, I think I've missed a line. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round even though she had the money. So she had been resisting from herself from purchasing balloons, toffees, etc. But one day when she went to the village fair, it was really very difficult for her to suppress her desire to ride on the merry-go-round. But she had to do so. She had to resist herself from sitting on that swing because she had to save money in order to go to the town and come back. After she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. After she had saved the money, now saving the money is one part of the story, but now another problem for her was how to manage to come out of the house without her mother's knowledge, because she knew very well that she was so small. If she would take her mother's permission, then her request would be denied. No parent will allow an 8-year child to go alone, sit in the bus and go alone to a town which is totally a new place for her and then come back. It is very dangerous also. It can be dangerous. So Vali is now thinking how she should make a plan so that she can go to the town without her mother's knowledge. But she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap. Nap means sleep. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from about 1 to 4 or so. Vali always used these hours for her excursions, as she stood looking from the doorway of her house, or sometimes even ventured out into the village. So every day it was a routine that Vali's mother used to sleep for 1 to 4 hours every day. From 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock every day. And this was the time when Vali used to stand at her door looking outside, or sometimes she also went into the village. Today, these same hours could be used for her first excursion outside the village. So see how intelligently Vali decided what time of the day she should choose. She decided that every day, like every day, when her mother would go to sleep from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, she would go to the town and come back in that duration. The bus rolled on now, cutting across a bare landscape, now rushing through a tiny hamlet. Hamlet means trading post, or past an odd wayside shop. Now the bus was moving, it was passing by a trading post, the shops which were on the way, etc. Sometimes the bus seemed to the point of gobbling up another vehicle. Gobbling means it was moving so fast that it appeared at some times that the bus is going to step on some other vehicle. Sometimes the bus seemed to point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them, or a pedestrian crossing the road. That means the bus was in speed. But lo, somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all obstacles safely behind. Trees came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them and simply stood there, helpless for a moment by the side of the road before rushing away in the other direction. This is just a way the writer is describing that when the bus was moving in great speed, it appeared that the trees were also moving very fast, and as the bus stopped, it appeared that the trees also took a halt. Suddenly, Vali clapped her hands with glee, that means with happiness. A young cow, you can see in the picture there is a cow. A young cow, tail high in the air, was running very fast, right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. So, when Wali saw this sight that a cow is running very fast in the middle of the road, just in front of the bus, Wali is very happy to see this and she claps her hand. The bus slowed to a crawl. Suddenly, seeing this, the bus driver slowed down the speed of the bus. The bus slowed to a crawl and the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. Why? Because he wanted that somehow the cow should go in some other direction and the bus can move ahead. But the more he honked, the more frightened the animal became and the faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. So, blowing the horn was not very useful because the louder the sound of the horn was, the more it blew, more was this cow frightened, and it kept on running just in front of the bus. Somehow, this was very funny to Wali. She laughed and laughed until there were tears in her eyes. "Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough?" called the conductor. Who is this lady? None other than Wali. The conductor is asking her, "Haven't you laughed enough? Now enough, keep quiet now. Better save some for tomorrow." That means now save some laughter for tomorrow. At last, the cow moved off the road. And soon the bus came to a railroad crossing. A speck of the train could be seen. Speck of the train means a small glance of the train. A tiny spot of the train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar. Then it rushed past. It rushed means the train. It rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle. That means it moved through the crossing with a great speed, shaking the bus. If you have seen, when you stand at the railway crossing and when the train passes, you will experience that the vehicles are also shaking slightly, the road is also shaking slightly. Why do we experience this? Because of the speed of the train. From there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street. Traversed means it travelled across. From there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street and turning, entered a wider thoroughfare. Thoroughfare means a busy public road. Such big, bright looking shops. What glittering displays of clothes and other merchandise. Other merchandise means other things which were displayed for sale. So, as the bus moved through the streets, Wali saw big showrooms, beautiful shops, clothes were displayed there, and other things also which were to be sold. Everything was on display. Wali had never been to a town earlier. Wali had never seen such beautiful things displayed in big shops. She had never seen such a beauty of the market. So she was just looking around. She was trying to see each and everything that was there in the marketplace. Such big crowds. It was also a strange thing for Wali. The streets were so crowded with people. So many things were displayed for sale. So Wali was just wonderstruck. She was so amazed. Struck dumb with wonder, Wali gaped at everything. Gaped means she looked at everything in amazement. She was surprised that happiness could be seen in her looks on her face, because it was the first time when she had seen such beautiful marketplaces, such crowded streets, such beautiful things displayed for sale. Then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Wali. Hey lady, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 paise takes you. So the conductor is telling Wali that now your bus stop has come. Here your last stoppage is this. So like other people, like other passengers, are you not going to get off the bus? Hey lady, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 paise takes you. No, Wali said. I am going back on this same bus. She took another 30 paise from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Why? Is something the matter? Now the conductor is not able to understand that just now the bus has stopped and Wali is again giving the 30 paise for her return journey and she is ready to go back in this same bus. What is the matter? Why she is not ready to get down and see everything all around? Why? Is something the matter? No, nothing's the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. So she gives a very true and a simple answer that there is nothing which is important, there is no matter, and I just came to the town because I wanted to have a ride and I will go back in the same bus back to my village. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. Don't you want to have a look at the sights? Now that you are here, the conductor is saying that when you have come to the town, don't you wish to get off the bus and see things all around? See the sights? Don't you want to see everything? Or don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you are here? All by myself? Oh, I'd be much too afraid. Wali says that if I get down and being alone, I start seeing everything in the marketplace or in this town, I don't want to do that because I feel afraid. Greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, but you weren't afraid to come in the bus. She says that I'm afraid to go all alone to look what is there in this town. So the conductor is asking that when you came in the bus all alone, then you were not afraid. Nothing to be afraid of about that, she answered. So she honestly says that sitting in the bus and coming to the town was nothing scary for her, so she did not feel afraid. Well then, why not go to that stall over there and have something to drink? Nothing to be afraid of about that either. The conductor is trying to give her courage and he says that you should get down, go to a nearby shop and drink something. There is nothing to be afraid about this as well. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Well then, let me bring you a cold drink. She is not ready to get down the bus. So the conductor is saying, I will bring a cold drink for you. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket. That's all. So how much money did she have? If you remember, she had just 60 paise that she had saved. 30 paise to come to the town and 30 paise to go back to her village. So she says, no, I can't drink anything. I don't have enough money. I just want my ticket. It will be my treat and not cost you anything. The conductor says, consider drinking a cold drink as a treat from my side. I will not take any money from you. No, she said firmly. Please, no. Now you can see, children, how firm this girl is. It shows her firmness in her character, firmness in her decision. She has decided she will not get down the bus. So whatever the conductor may say, she will not listen to him and she is sitting in the bus continuously. Even she is so firm that she is not ready to drink the cold drink which the conductor is going to give him from his side as a treat. No, she said firmly, please, no. The conductor shrugged. That means he raised his shoulders. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin the return journey. Again, there weren't many passengers. Few passengers were there in the return journey also. Won't your mother be looking for you? The conductor asked when he gave the girl her ticket. No, no one will be looking for me, she said. The bus started, and again there were the same wonderful sights. Now, if I ask you why did she give this reply, no, no one is looking for me, because her mother must have been sleeping by now. It was her time to take a nap. Vali wasn't bored in the slightest and greeted everything with the same excitement she had felt the first time. When she was coming to the town, she saw the beautiful scenes while traveling by bus, and during her return journey also, although she was seeing the same scenes once again, but she was equally excited and happy. But suddenly she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside, just where it had been struck by some fast moving vehicle. Now see, a sudden change in the mood of Vali. Till now she was so excited in her return journey also. She was so happy looking here and there outside the window. But suddenly she saw that a cow was lying dead on the roadside, and it appeared as if a fast moving vehicle had hit the cow. That is why the cow died. Isn't that the same cow that ran in front of the bus on our trip to town? She asked the conductor. Now she is greatly worried about the dead cow, and she is trying to find out, is this the same cow that was running a few minutes back in front of their bus when the bus was coming to the town? The conductor nodded, and she was overcome with sadness. The conductor nodded in agreement. That means he told Vali by nodding his head that yes, it is the same cow. And Vali suddenly became very sad. She was overcome with sadness. What had been a lovable, beautiful creature just a little while ago had now suddenly lost its charm and its life and looked so horrible, so frightening as it lay there, legs spread angled. Spread-angled means spread out. A fixed stare in its lifeless eyes, blood all over. So Vali is thinking that a beautiful creature who was running on the road some time back is now lying in a pool of blood on the road. Its eyes are still, its legs are spread out, and how horrible and frightening the cow was looking. The bus moved on. The memory of the dead cow haunted her. That means it kept on coming in her mind repeatedly, dampening her enthusiasm. All her enthusiasm of going to the town and coming back to her village all alone, seeing beautiful things on the way, seeing the beautiful shops in the town, all that excitement vanished as soon as she saw the dead cow. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, dampening her enthusiasm. She no longer wanted to look out of the window. The girl who was so excited to look out of the window a few minutes back was now in a deep sorrowful mood, and she was no longer excited to look outside and see things around. She sat thus, glued to her seat. That means she sat still on her seat without moving. Earlier, what was she doing? She was standing on her seat, she was looking out, peeping outside the window, seeing here, seeing there. But now all excitement, all enthusiasm had vanished, and she was sitting straight on her seat until the bus reached her village at 3:40. She stood up and stretched herself Then she turned to the conductor and said, "Well, sir, I hope to see you again." "Okay, madam," he answered her, smiling. "Whenever you feel like a bus ride, come and join us, and don't forget to bring your fare." She laughed and jumped down from the bus. Then away she went, running straight for home. When she entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of Wali's aunts, the one from South Street. This aunt was a real chatterbox, never closing her mouth once she started talking. "And where have you been?" said her aunt when Wali came in. She spoke very casually, not expecting a reply. So Wali just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on with their conversation. "Yes, you are right," her mother said. "So many things in our midst and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? And even when we do know about something, we often can't understand it completely, can we?" "Oh yes," breathed Wali. "What?" asked her mother. "What's that you say?" "Oh," said Wali, "I was just agreeing with that you said about things happening without our knowledge." "Just a chit of a girl she is," said her aunt. Chit of a girl means she is just a small little girl. She is," said her aunt. "And yet look how she pokes her nose into our conversation, just as though she were a grown-up lady." So this aunt did not like this at all, that when she was talking to Wali's mother, Wali spoke and gave her opinion in between. Wali smiled to herself. She didn't want them to understand her smile, but then there wasn't much chance of that, was there? That means just Wali smiled for a few minutes. She stood there for some time and then went away. And both these ladies, Wali's aunt and her mother, both these ladies could not understand why Wali smiled. Actually, why did Wali smile? Wali smiled thinking about her strange experience which she had during her bus journey, and while returning back she saw a horrible sight. So thinking of all the